Hi, welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Lily Newman, your host, and this is my co-host, Susan Solomon, Executive Director of Drug Crisis in Our Backyard. And today's guest is Linda Lonergan. She is a clinical nutritionist. Welcome, Linda. Glad to have you here.
Oh,
Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
So tell us about how you got started at being a clinical nutritionist.
I worked as a sensory scientist in food corporations, and then from there I went further my education through my graduate work, and I went on my own. And I've worked as a clinical nutritionist for 21 plus years.
What does that mean, clinical nutritionist?
Specifically, it means that I've gone through an accredited dietetic association program, and in the completion of that, you continue either to go directly into an internship or you go for your master's.
And you went for your master's?
I did.
Okay.
And I got a master's in food and nutrition and minor in biology.
Okay, all right.
And then I started to expound by going to see people of all ages and to apply my principles to all areas of nutrition.
Can you explain what principles?
In terms of meeting with a person, generally recommended by a physician, and to work with them in terms of their lifestyle, their blood work, any kind of allergies or problems they have, and then design a plan accordingly to meet their specific individual needs.
So it sounds like with the biology, because I've never heard of a nutritionist that takes the blood work, takes allergies, looks at the food, looks at how you're eating, what you're eating, and then comes up with a plan. Did you?
No.
Right.
No, absolutely. I don't take blood work, though.
No, but you get the information from the doctor.
Absolutely.
And you put everything together, and then you make a plan from all that information.
Absolutely. I do.
So what kind of patients do you get? I mean, why would a doctor refer someone to you for that type of, for your expertise? Why would a doctor say Linda would be perfect to?
Well, generally, a lot of patients or clients will be put on a 1,200 calorie, 2 gram sodium diet, which is general. What I do specifically is deal with the unique specialization or modification for each person, depending on what their blood work is, what their lifestyle is, how much exercise or physical activity they get, what is their past successes, their present successes, and what are their short-term and long-term goals.
So is it about weight?
It's sometimes about weight. The majority of the time, it's anything from diabetes to cardiovascular, to hormonal imbalance, to post or premenopause, to cancers, to anything to change lipid levels. I work with all nutritional disorders.
Okay, so that's what I figured. I figured it would be people with different types of illnesses could come to you.
Absolutely.
And look towards nutrition for instead of medicine.
Exactly.
Medicines, pharmaceutical medicines. That's how I'm thinking about it. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Just recently I had someone who has fibromyalgia who also has problems with low blood sugar and at the same time has a thyroid disorder.
Wow.
So a normal plan is not something that would apply to that.
Right.
They have specific needs and they need to be treated specifically and specially.
And maybe that's why so many, because the average woman is 5'4" and 154 pounds, I believe. And with diets for myself, they don't work because I'm trying to do one size fits all.
That's right.
And that's why they don't work for many people.
That's why
they don't stay. You lose some weight, sorry to interrupt, and then you don't stay with the weight off.
Right, you don't stay.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. That's why I created about 120 different designs to apply to everyone's unique needs.
So what does that mean? What does a design look like?
A design specifically is a plan that is breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks. That's according to what their food preferences is. I include foods that they really enjoy and can have in moderation. Portion control is very important. I also emphasize the importance of unprocessed foods, no added sugar, getting adequate fiber per day, but at the same time not making it depriving.
Right.
Making it something that you can live with and a lifestyle that just becomes natural to you. Many of the diets out there are something that you can do for a short period of time, but you can't
That's
live
right.
with it.
That's right.
So that's why I try to really get an idea if someone wants dark chocolate in their diet, or if someone wants to have pizza once a week, it should be included. We should be able to have what we want in moderation.
Yeah.
So my emphasis is mainly to have unprocessed, real food. If you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't eat it in terms of labeling.
There's so many processed foods, though. There's so many chemicals in foods.
Very much so.
So do you recommend whole foods, like foods that are whole grains and...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Whole foods in terms of that, if you look at a label and you can't pronounce it, it's not a whole food.
Okay.
And the most important thing is not only just look at the quantity of protein, carbohydrate, and fat, but also the quality.
Meaning?
The quality as far as we're looking not only at saturated fats, but where those fats come from. In terms, we want whole fats, things like flax oil, omega-3 fatty acids, avocado, almonds, walnuts are whole foods that have tremendous nutritional benefit.
It's a whole lesson. I mean, when people come to you, it's not just 1, 2, 3. I mean,
No.
because just the way it sounds, this is a lifestyle change. To be successful, it's changing your lifestyle, and then everything else will hopefully get better.
Very much
The
so.
high blood pressure, cholesterol, whatever it may be.
Very, very much so. And each week also I include education of nutrition, because I want people to leave me and really be able to live a new life, understand a new meal plan rather than diet, and be able to become just part of their lifestyle and what they do, and that they're comfortable with it, that they can make modifications and not feel deprived.
Do you come into a person's house and fix their cabinets, get rid of the garbage, go shopping with them, help
I do.
them? Okay.
Yes, I do go to people's homes at times when it's necessary, and I have met people in grocery stores as well as health food stores.
Right.
Because they can be very intimidating environments, and if I guide them and share with them, it becomes second nature to them.
To know what to look for
Yes.
and what to pick out.
Right.
Especially when you're
Absolutely.
changing your whole...
That's right.
The way you eat. So
Very much
how
so.
many sessions do you usually have with a client?
Generally about 16.
Okay.
The initial consult is free because I want to get a very good idea in terms of who they are. And I want them to feel comfortable with me as well. So to find out exactly what their lifestyle is, what their blood work is. I had substantial weight problems in the past, and that's helped me tremendously to understand how intimidating it can be, how uncomfortable it can be, and to provide the most comfortable environment I possibly can. And then from there, I get a very good idea in terms of their lifestyle changes, what their blood work is, what their specific nutritional problem is, whether it's diabetes or cardiovascular or hormone imbalance,
Right.
or just dealing with sugar problems.
Yeah. Sugar.
And then diet something specifically for their needs.
Right.
And it can constantly be modified or changed. It's not just one set
Size
meal
fits all.
plan, as you indicated, Lily. One size fits all. It's not.
Right. You know, so my son and my daughter-in-law were on a diet called Whole30. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I have.
Oh my God! It's 30 days
Yes.
of everything is all you're really allowed to have is protein and vegetables.
Right.
It's very limited fruit, no dairy,
No beans.
Can they stick to? Did
No
they
what?
stick-
No beans. No,
No
peanuts. No
beans.
peanut butter.
no. I mean,
Yes.
it's so strict.
Yes, it is.
Were they able to stick to it?
For 30 days,
And that's it.
and that's it. And so what I found with it is, this is the second time they did it. And I'll
Right.
tell you, when I saw my son the first time he did it, after he finished, he was glowing.
Yeah.
He
Wow.
looked fabulous.
Right.
But any weight they lost, they put right back
Right.
on.
Right.
Right.
Because no carbs, no dairy.
Right. No.
It's like very, very, very restrictive.
Can you sustain a diet like that?
It's very, very difficult. Generally, something that is that limited, I try to minimize it for a short period of time, and then gradually ease them into something that's just more less depriving and more that they can work with their lifestyle. And I think Whole30 is an example that it's wonderful to start with no dairy, no beans, limited carbohydrates. But at the same time, it's very hard to adapt it or modify it to eating in restaurants, eating out, socializing, and having continuity of sticking to it.
I agree. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not very good on very restrictive diets. I was heavy too. I had a weight problem when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost it when I was about 21. So, and I kept it off. But I am a calorie counter.
Got it.
I count calories. I know the calories of everything.
Right.
So, and that always worked for me, counting calories, you know. But I know, I heard, you mentioned that you started a new part of your business, and we wanted to hear a little bit about that.
Sure. It's Nutrition K-Angel. It's a memory of my daughter. My beautiful daughter, Caitlin, died 7 years ago. She was killed fatally in a car accident. From that, things have changed my life in terms that I designed Nutrition K-Angel for people of all stages who are grieving, whether it's beginning or middle or continuing as I live it every day. And in a way, I've created 21 designs in terms of applying whether it is a husband who lost a wife, or a wife who lost a husband, or a parent who's lost a child. That it's important to make healing and eating again a priority. And I've created 12, I call them little steps, just one step at a time, one moment at a time, in terms of learning to eat again or not eat too much, being able to get up, being able to shop, go to the grocery store, help them find power foods, foods that give them energy so they don't feel drained. And it's something I live every day. So I've created this, my daughter's memory, because there's so many out there that I share with and I talk to that are experiencing this.
Yeah.
As a nutritionist.
Loss.
Absolutely.
Loss of a loved one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So how do you, what's the process that you're marketing this business? How are you doing that?
I'm doing it through lecturing in various settings, from bereavement groups to community centers to chambers of commerce, in terms of the specialization of being a nutritionist to help those who grieve. Because when it first happened to me, it was an essential part to just getting up and, even though I was a nutritionist, be able to select foods that gave energy, that gave the motivation to make healing a priority.
Right.
And that's what I'm planning to do in terms of this business.
When you talk about your 12 little steps,
right.
you talked in the beginning,
right.
so healing is the first step.
Healing's the first step. Secondary to that is teaching them how to shop again, 2, 3, cook again, working with recipes, working with mini meals, stopping the voices in their head that they want to actually eat. For those in terms of that overeat, to help them to find foods that can give them satiation, but at the same time provide comfort for them.
Right.
Many people go to comfort foods that are macaroni and cheese or sugars, but
ice cream.
But there are other comfort foods that will help in a way where they won't overeat and at the same time give them energy.
Do you find that for people that are grieving, that eating, they almost feel guilty because that's a part of living?
Very much so.
And I don't know what that's like, so I was just asking.
Well, I found initially that eating is not a priority. And it either goes not eating or eating too much.
Yeah.
And the idea is to find out which way it is going and to try to help them understand and learn that a priority in healing is to take hold of that and find the foods that'll give them energy and get them back on track. And when you live it, you understand it. And you can listen more and really get to specifically design something that will work with whatever their needs are, because there are different stages with grief, and to be able to handle at many different stages makes it special for people that just want to get on the right track to feel better.
Right. So now, do you recommend exercise?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I myself, I dance every day in danceology. And it's phenomenal because it raises your endorphins. It helps with strength and tonality. And at the same time, you don't have to think. You're able to just escape for a short period of time just to get energy, to feel better about yourself, and to keep moving and make healing a priority. So
Yeah,
yes.
I think that when it comes to, grieving the loss of your child, I think
Very
that
much so.
you have to quiet the voices in your head, all the voices that tell you it was your fault, if I would have done this, and
Sure.
so many things. And I
Absolutely.
think it is different than grieving the loss, especially of a parent, because you expect your parents to pass before you.
Very much so.
And thank God I have not lost my husband, so I don't know what that feels like.
Right.
And but for a child, I know it's a lot of feelings of guilt, especially in the beginning.
Sure.
The early days.
No, very
And,
much so.
And it stops you from living your life the way you want to live it. You don't
Very
feel
much
like you
so.
should live it.
No, and you're absolutely right, Susan, in terms of the voices. So
Yeah.
what I try to share as much as I can is that by finding the right foods, by finding the right way to eat again, to select the right foods, to cook again, to get back on track to making healing a priority, they're able to heal, like I said, 12 little steps, one step at a time.
Yeah.
And generally when someone comes in, they give an intro, and then I modify it accordingly depending on what stage of grief they're in and what is the priority that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
And
That's
it's
pretty
not,
interesting.
Really
yeah,
is.
it's not something that comes out of a book. It's something I understand.
Yeah.
And
And you have the science behind you.
behind
Yes.
it.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
all the science behind it.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell our audience how they can reach you?
Oh, sure. You can reach me in terms of my website, which is nutritionkangel.com, or my email at nutritionkangel@gmail.com. And I offer a free consult, and I'd very like to meet anyone who is interested in being helped and to share, and that I can work with them one little step at a time.
Yeah.
So
So also, I know that you've worked with the population, the addiction population.
yes, I have.
Yes, actually, that's how we met.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and I thought you were very good with them also. They had a million questions. Could you tell
Yeah.
us a little about that?
Oh, sure. I set up 12 PowerPoints on different areas of nutrition. The first priority is you want it to make a priority to them, that you want to make sure that you're replacing in the recovery process with key foods that help them to feel more energy, not drained, that their blood sugar stays stable, and that is convenient and easy. One time I was there and I showed them how to make a homemade granola, and it was very, very easy to put things together, that it was ready available for them. So
It was
they
delicious.
they didn't have to
Where did you?
think about it.
Where was this? At
The counseling center.
The counseling center. And each week specifically dealt from anywhere eating on the run to working with minimizing sugar and minimizing processed foods to watching if they had diabetes or they had problems with blood pressure. Exercise. There's different exercises for different people, and it needs to be modified which exercise. Some people do yoga, some people do danceology, like myself, from Club Fit. Some people do lifting weights or walking or running, and everything needs to be modified for each individual need.
And when you're using out there, you're not taking care of your nutritional needs. You're eating just whatever out there
No.
on the run. Just
No.
keep it moving.
Right.
So this is a whole change. And you know what? It goes with recovery.
Yeah,
Because if you
it does.
feel better, you want to stay sober with everything
Right.
else you're doing to
That's right.
incorporate nutrition into the recovery process.
Very much so.
But-
Very much so.
But a lot of places don't do it the way you do it.
Yeah, well, I think it's important, like the 12 steps I have for the new Nutrition King Angel. It's the same with recovery, that it needs to be one small step at a time. if you can identify things that they begin to say, wow, you know, this makes sense. This is something I can modify or apply to my diet or my meal plan, that one little step at a time. So that's
Can you tell us a little about sugar? And what,
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about sugar.
Sure. Sugar, the problem with sugar is that it's added to so many foods, and the new regulations accordingly are going to say that not only the quantity, because generally for a woman it says 6 teaspoons a day, for a man it's 9 teaspoons a day. But the new regulatory standards are indicating that they want to know that there's no added sugar. Sugar takes many different forms, and it has a similar effect of what drugs may sometimes give an effect, sugar. And if you can try to have them minimize their sugar, you can get them to try to feel better, to have more energy, and to want to make nutrient-dense meals that will keep their blood sugar more stable rather than erratic, which is the same pattern you would see in recovery with a drug addict, this erratic blood sugar. So my initial goal is to teach them what foods are high in sugar and which ones are lower in sugar, so that pattern can start to become a priority. And once they feel great, or feel better, it's something they want to do for the rest of their life, because they just feel so much better.
So what are some foods high in sugar?
Foods high in sugar, well, you have the regulars, which are your cakes and cookies and brownies, refined sugar.
Brownies. That's right over there.
Yes, you do.
Candy.
Candy.
But then you have also, if you have a very, very large amount of fruit, that also is a lot of sugar as well. So the idea is to include sugar in diet, but do it in a way that it's portion control and that you watch when you have it. A lot of times I generally recommend that you delay the sugar to later on in the day, so it doesn't be a continual erratic process of having sugar.
So foods that are high in sugar, natural sugar, corn,
yes,
things like
too
that.
many carbs, yes. Corn, refined white bread, refined rolls or bagels, things that are on whole grain, things that don't give us at least 4 grams of fiber per serving. These are foods that if eaten too much, it becomes too many carbohydrates, too much sugar
and you
in
can
our
become
body.
addicted to sugar.
Absolutely.
I was addicted to sugar. Gumballs.
Gumballs.
That was my addiction. People laugh when I tell the kids, I get addicted to it. And the behaviors, you can see, go out at 1 o'clock in the morning to CVS in my pajamas for gumballs.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And I hide them. And my son would go, "Ma, what are you doing?" "Nothing." Because I'd hide them under my bed so he wouldn't know. It's a shame.
No, absolutely.
Because, you know, I shouldn't be eating this.
No.
My 6 packs of gumballs.
No, I agree with you.
I saw an interesting commercial that was about sugar, and it had a 16-ounce jar or container of yogurt and a 16-ounce container of ice cream. And it said, under the yogurt it said breakfast, and under the ice cream it said dessert.
Right.
Because they have the same amount of sugar in them.
Absolutely,
Wow,
they do.
I didn't realize that.
They do. That's absolutely true. I try to recommend Greek yogurt.
Yes, Greek yogurt's much better. Faye is very good.
Then I'll have to get that.
Very low levels of sugar.
Then I'll have to get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just use some nuts or seeds and some ground flaxseed and some berries and some cinnamon that apparently it helps to stabilize blood sugar naturally.
It's good to know.
And it makes a great nutrient-dense breakfast.
And
you know, because Giovanni has a lot.
Yeah. And Dannon has even more.
Right.
And you know, when we're talking about addiction,
we
have a movie coming up.
Oh, yes. Actually, and I'd like to invite you to this movie,
Thank
but
you
I'd like
very
to
much.
invite the audience to this movie.
Yes.
It's called Reversing the Stigma. It's a documentary produced by New York State Office of Alcohol and Substance Abuse. I saw it 3 times. It's a fabulous movie. It's about addiction, recovery, hope, and healing. And it's playing at the White Plains Cityplex. It's a cinema right in the middle of White Plains. Next week, October 16th at 7 o'clock. I really hope you can come, because it It is a movie about reducing or reversing the stigma associated with addiction.
right.
It's a really important. Documentary. So we hope you can come.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, please try to come. You'll
Very much
really
so.
enjoy it.
Very
It's
much
very
so.
good, and
Yeah.
you get to see the people that have gone through this journey.
Right.
And
Right.
and there's two of them, two characters they follow,
Yeah.
plus the narrator, and
Yes.
it's just amazing. You begin to get really attached to the characters,
Looking
and because they're
forward
real
to it.
people, actually. You know,
Yes.
so yeah.
Yeah,
So
and it's important. Tomorrow I'm teaching a group as well in recovery, so I'll be sure to share it.
yes, please
'cause
do.
any
You can
information-
take this. You can
Please.
take this with you if you'd like. Take
I
the
would
flyer.
very much like to.
Yeah, please
And,
do, because we're trying to fill the theater up. There's 400 seats in the theater.
Sure.
That's a lot of seats, but
Yeah.
we'll get in as many as we can, because our mission is to spread the word and to
right.
help people, as is yours.
That's right.
Sure,
Help people recover.
absolutely.
And
That-
live healthier lives.
That's right.
Right.
Just one little step at a time.
all it
One little
takes.
step at a time. That's
Yeah.
what it does take, and it is one step at a time.
Right.
It's-
Yeah.
You know, for some people, it's 1 minute at a time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Moment by moment.
Linda, it was wonderful having you on the show.
Thank you.
It was really
It
good.
was a pleasure to meet
Very
both of
interesting. And you have to come back.
Yeah, and-
Very much
yeah.
so.
Please.
Stay in touch with us. Let us know about the grieving
Sure.
groups that you are going in and lecturing to. We probably
Absolutely.
could get you in touch with some other ones.
you. Wonderful.
Okay.
And spread the
I'm
word.
open
There are a
and
lot of
share.
people, that are out there that are suffering.
Yep.
I know. And it's something that's not been addressed before,
Right.
and I know
In
there's
this
a need.
way.
Right.
Absolutely, because it works hand in hand.
It
Yeah.
really does.
Thank you.
It really, really does.
So another
you so
group
much for
you
your
might
time.
want to get in touch with is GRASP.
Grasp.
Okay, GRASP. That's
Okay.
a grieving group
Okay.
for families that have lost
Really.
loved ones to substance.